News Talk 1490 WERE, Cleveland Heights. Streaming live on the new BlackPlanetRadio.com.
ABC News Now, I'm Deirdre Bryant. The New York City newspaper that printed a map of gun permit holders in 2 counties has removed it after 27 days, citing a new state law. Gun owners were outraged, but the Journal News says it will continue to report aggressively on gun ownership. Algeria's state news agency reports that 12 hostages have been killed since the start of a military operation to free kidnapped workers at a natural gas plant. U.S. officials confirm that 1 American is among the dead. The Lance Armstrong interview was not only a pivotal moment in the cyclist saga, but also for Oprah Winfrey in trying to draw larger audiences to her network. Last night's program was seen by a total of 4.3 million viewers in back-to-back airings. Part 2 airs tonight. A Virginia woman has filed a petition on Change.org asking Victoria's Secret to add a survivor line of mastectomy bras for women like her mother who have struggled to find attractive bras. This is ABC News.
Buy Atkins bars and shakes at Walmart. Forget to buy some EAS protein powder. Culturelle probiotics to help your digestive system. At Walmart, find everything you need to get back on track for the new year. Backed by AdMatch. Our stores will match the price of any local competitor's printed ad for an identical product. Not applicable to Walmart.com. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
At Advance Auto Parts, we don't do anything just part way. We go full throttle. We don't just sell batteries. Oh, no. We install them fast and free with purchase on most vehicles. And we mean fast. If strapping on an experimental jetpack would help us install your battery any faster, we'd do it. Unfortunately, jetpacks can be squirmy. Too bad, because we really wanted those things. Fast, free battery installation at Advance. Service is our best part. Advance Auto Parts.
You know that the ice cream scoop has the power to make a child smile, and that by slowing us down, the traffic light can keep us going. You know that the golf tee brings friends together, that the mailbox keeps them connected. You know that the cataract laser helps you look to the future, while the pacemaker ensures that there's a future to be seen. You know that the lawnmower, the clothes dryer, and the elevator make life easier, that the blood bank makes life possible. You know that these things we count on every day started as ideas. But did you know all these ideas came from the minds of African Americans? Support minority education today so we don't miss out on the next big idea tomorrow. The United Negro College Fund. A mind is a terrible thing to waste. Please visit uncf.org or call 1-800-332-UNCF. Brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
Great party, huh, guys?
Yeah, it is. So much fun.
I do say so myself. Hey, did you know that birthday parties actually help build confidence in kids?
Yeah, I did know that.
Did you know that giving kids less sugar before bedtime helps them sleep better?
Right, of course.
Yeah, I knew that. Did you know that strollers have the right of way on sidewalks?
Oh, yeah, I knew that.
Yeah, that's true. Did you know that friendly kids statistically have more friends?
Everyone knows that.
Oh, yeah?
Pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Obvious. Hey, guys, did you know that most people think they're using the right car seat for their kid, but they're not?
I didn't know that.
I think I knew that.
No, you didn't.
Parents who really know it all know for sure that their child is in the right car seat at the right age and size. Visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat to make sure your child is protected. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Kids have the craziest ideas about food. Where do they get this stuff? Like eating Brussels sprouts helps you hit home runs. And eating carrots gives you X-ray vision. It's nuts. And I honestly have no idea where my daughter got this notion that broccoli is the official food of professional ballerinas. The only reason my 4-year-old loves cantaloupe is because he's convinced it comes from the moon.
One small step for man, lots of potassium for mankind.
And the other day when my oldest came up to me and said, "Mom, will eating peas and carrots really help me pull off a fakey frontside ollie with a twist?" I look him in the eye and say, "It can't hurt, honey. It can't hurt."
Moms everywhere are finding creative ways to help their kids eat 5 servings of fruit and vegetables a day. Get ideas, get involved, get going at letsmove.gov. Brought to you by the USDA, HHS, and the Ad Council.
WERE, Cleveland Heights, powered by the new BlackPlanetRadio.com. Views, opinions, claims, or representations are those of the participants and are not those of 1490 WERE AM's owners or management. Broadcast or rebroadcast in any form of 1490 WERE programming is prohibited unless otherwise agreed to in writing.
This is for them rough days when you feel like giving updates. That's right. Here's a little something for the smile on your face.
When I close my eyes and think of you,
Reminisce.
and reminisce on all the things you do. I can't imagine my life without you. It's like paradise now. I know that it's real. It's no mystery. But someone to give that I just for me. What you did on Calvary makes me wanna love you more.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the OCU Forum. I'm your host, Darnell Brewer, and the other host is...
Broadcasting live from Planet Do-Right, Miss Mariah.
And I don't know if you can hear the excitement in my host's voice. And she has some reason to be excited. We're going to get into that later on in the program. But how was your week, Miss Mariah?
Oh, my gosh, I've had such a wonderful, exhilarating weekend. I love the people of Cleveland. They are waking up. I'm getting calls. I'm meeting people.
And you're seeing people in the grocery store.
Yes, I'm seeing people in the grocery store, and they're going, hey, you're the lady that was on TV. And they're asking for help from Ohio Communities United. And so I am excited because we are moving and we are making a difference. And that's the goal of OCU, Ohio Communities United.
Yeah, that's the goal of our show. And not just the goal of our show, but also the organization itself.
Yes.
Is to make difference in the lives, not just people in Cuyahoga County, but beyond. That's why we're Ohio Community United.
The state of Ohio. There
you
go.
The last thing that we talked about, and we're going to indulge in this a little bit, was the double dipping of our council person, Ken Johnson. He was City Councilman Ken Johnson. And I know just like you've been amazed, and I've been amazed at how many people have defended not only his actions, but also his role down there at City Council. And to the point where we, in particular, have been told that, and they've been turning it into more of a race issue as far as the reason why we was a dissenting voice against Ken Johnson and I guess we can call it double dipping, because there were 2 more people. We're going to talk about this too, who've been profiled on the news about double dipping.
Right. And what I'm finding is that, and this is what's amazing me, I sent out emails to several people to remind them, listen to the show, and I get an email back from a lawyer who's a friend of mine, and just for the record, my middle name is Star, so a lot of people will call me Star. And so he says, Star, look, a lot of that is, it's a common practice. It's nothing new. And I've often thought, and I'm quoting him on this, he says, I've often thought that those types of protests that you're going to be doing are misplaced. And so, my hair almost fell out, and, okay. So basically, here's my response to people who feel, well, that's been going on for a long time. Since the dawn of time, murder has been going on.
Correct.
It's wrong. Okay? Foreclosures are wrong. Drugs are wrong. Alcohol, drinking and driving, wrong. We as a society have to define what's wrong and set some very clear boundaries on it. And when we start talking about integral issues, and this is an integral issue, I'm having a difficult time swallowing the integrity of 2013, because when I was a kid, the integrity of what I was taught, what I was raised on, is not that now. Mm-hmm. People have bent rules, and people have loopholed rules to do things that they just know are simply not right.
And Oliver had a saying that what legal is What was it saying?
Oh, yeah, working in Dad's office, he would come in and he would be so frustrated, and I would look at him, and he would say, "Daughter, you need to go into law," and I go, and I can't do that, and so he would look at me, and I would say, "Dad, listen, these people just ain't right," and Dad would say, "No, because legal and right ain't got nothing to do with each other." And, he said, and as you get older and learn, you will find that it has nothing to do with one another. And so in going to law school, because I want people to know I'm not an ignorant person, I have gone to law school.
So you followed his advice? I
did follow his advice. But mind you, I was educated
prior
to that. And so I had already finished my master's in historical African-American history, and I have a strong background in accounting and bookkeeping and finances and taxes and religious studies, because when I got to college, I felt like I was at a buffet, so I took everything. And so when I graduated with almost 200 credits just with my BA. And it was like when I walked in, they said, "Well, you were supposed to graduate a long time ago." And I was like, no, I was enjoying learning, because I think humanity is amazing. And to find so many things that are consistent throughout cultures, but also which are very different in cultures. One culture I found that was very, very interesting was the Japanese culture. And in Japan, what they have is called fela, which is translated as law here. Right. And fela means that, when you hurt the community, one person hurts another person, you've hurt the whole. And you've hurt the whole community. And we don't see life like that here. It's a very, very different type of belief system here. We don't. It's supposed to be the same, that we're all supposed to grieve when one person hurts another person.
And with that being said, Martin Luther King Day is coming. Drum major, for justice.
Who is he? Who was that? Martin Luther King who?
Martin Luther King. well, we hope in this society.
Martin Luther King Jr.?
Martin Luther King Jr. We hope people in today's society would know who Martin Luther King is and some of the things that he had done for our community. And we would sit here behind his mics, and one of the things we could say is, if MLK was alive, what would he say? What would he do? Would he still be in support of some of the peoples and some of the policies that we have set in place?
No. No. When I went to college, one of my majors, like I said, was African American history, and I took a lot of classes that were. Do we have him on?
Go ahead.
Okay. I can hold that thought, and let's put him on.
Oh, go ahead, Ed.
Ed?
Oh, hey, how are you? Thanks for having me on.
Good, glad to make it. Thank you.
Thanks for calling.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, it's a hot-button issue. I guess you guys are talking a little bit about double dipping today, and among other things.
Of course. Also, before we get started on this issue, I want to extend to you an invitation to come on Fridays if you have opportunity and you have investigations like these. We want you to be able to come, because we know that you have such a small time constraint on TV and you can't give a lot of information. But you could do that here. OCU is for that purpose, so that you could come forward and give that information to the public so that we can keep it a hot issue. That's the problem. It doesn't stay hot long enough, and we want to keep some issues hot so that we can make some changes.
It's interesting that you say that, because things do have a way of dying off, that something always comes and pushes it off the headlines, and then it's on to the next thing, and people forget about it, or at least it goes in the background. So, yeah, that's a great point, that things are easily forgotten.
Right, and we don't want to do that. We want to grab hold of some of these issues, and we want to push it till we push the issue off the edge, and when it goes, it's gone for good.
Well, let me ask you, Ed, did you get a lot of responses in response to your double-dipping stories? Not just one, but stories.
Right, exactly. Well, I appreciate that, and we'll have to work that out, because things do develop, and they develop in a hurry, and then we've noticed lately that a lot of things, as we put it, grown legs very quickly. A lot of times in the past, things would be a story for a day or two, and that's it. And now we're noticing certain things are really starting to take off for days and days. They still get pushed off the headlines, but they're deeper discussion than they have in the past.
That's because people are tired, Ed. People are tired. I'm tired, and I inherited this mess. I inherited from 2 generations before me. And so, I don't want to pass this on to my grandkids. I don't want to pass this on to them where, they're going to be looking at me cross-eyed one day saying, why didn't you say anything? Why didn't you do it? No, that's not how this is going to work. We're going to fix this, and we're going to push these issues until these elected officials do what they're supposed to do. It's pretty simple to me.
Yeah, a lot of times, well, a good example is the recent case of Emilliano, this mother that accused of killing her 3-year-old and throwing him in the trash. That story, we've had, unfortunately, mothers who have killed their children before, some who have even thrown their child in the trash. That story has really resonated, and that really took a discussion where people wanted to know, wanted to talk about what was not being done in the system. Certainly, she bears the brunt of responsibility, but was the system, checks and balances, was it doing enough to really catch a person who might be falling through the cracks, who might be leaning toward this kind of scenario? So that kind of discussion took off for days, and again, it was more so than just, well, isn't it horrible this mother did that? It became a larger discussion.
And but that was something, Ed, I don't know if you're aware of it, but that was an issue that I took to Cuyahoga County Council and to the Health and Services Committee. I took it to Mr. Fitzgerald. I wrote letters. I have literally, and Darnell can attest to this, I have a rolling suitcase of information regarding what was going on inside that agency and how they pushed me out as a foster parent. And I was concerned because in looking at what policies state how things are supposed to be, they're not operating that way. And so for me, when I saw what happened with this young girl and her child, my heart hurt really bad. And then Lisa Nofel, the worker who was stabbed to death by her foster child, that was my fear because they had placed children in my home where my safety was in question, and I couldn't sleep at night. And so when I found out Lisa Nofel had been murdered, and I had just came out of a situation that was, very close for me, and the county was not hearing what I was saying to them, they weren't listening, and their response was to get rid of me, to send me for a revocation. And they were blatant and said, hey, you don't fit within this bureaucratic process. And so my goal since then, and that's been since June of this year, my goal has been that even if nobody else could help me, doesn't mean I can't help somebody else. And so I have really, really been diligent about going to council and writing Mr. Fitzgerald letters. And to this day, he has not responded, not even to receiving the letters that I've sent. Nothing, not a word, not a word. But I
can tell you, though, the fact that you are being this aggressive and staying on it shows that this is an issue that is not going to go away, that people are not just going to forget about the next thing that comes along. Sure, many people will move on, but there are still a few who are going to keep the ball rolling and try to effort some change.
Well, I'm her.
Yeah, I believe it.
I'm her. I'm definitely her. My dad was attorney Stan Tolliver.
Okay.
And I worked with him since I was 17. And I've seen and I've heard and I've read transcript of trials. I've been in trials with him. I've stood with him in protests.
Good man, that's for sure.
He was. And you talk about my heart hurting from day one when I lost him. I mean, Darnell will tell you, this is probably one of the few times I can actually talk about him without crying. And he's been gone for 2 years.
Right. Well, he certainly left his mark here in Cuyahoga County as a legal profession. So I understand that on a professional level, and certainly you have a much deeper connection with the family level, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, and so I'm very aggressive, and for me, my work took me out of Cleveland for quite some time. I dealt with the foreclosures, and so I was traveling all over the country, and I had documentaries done all over the world about the foreclosure crisis that was going on here in the city of Ohio, in Cuyahoga County, and how it was affecting us. And so coming back here and getting to work and, deciding I'm going to settle down a little bit and I'm going to, do something productive was to get into foster care because I love kids. And so I started fostering, and it became a nightmare for me. It became a nightmare from day one. And so, my heart is just like my dad's. It's I love people. I know that if you open your mouth and you speak out, that you can make a difference. And listening to your stories, and believe me, we are watching those stories, and we are discussing, and I'm calling. Darnell will tell you, they're probably tired of me calling. We're having board meetings all the time to strategize how to deal with these issues. And when you have these kind of things that you're flashing across the screen, my mouth is falling open. I'm going, is anybody seeing this besides me?
Well, and it's interesting you say that, too, as well, because I think what happens is people see that, and they are maybe surprised by what they see in certain situations. They didn't know about a particular angle of something that was happening. But eventually it does lead to change because of people like you. And that's one of the things about TV news that we can all be proud of. And people say, I don't watch the news, it's all negative. Well, you know what? There is a lot of negativity in TV news or newspapers. That's just the nature of the business because people are more interested in speaking out about problems. And they certainly are more interested in finding out about what went wrong when a mother takes the life of her child, if that's in fact what happened, than they are about the fact that it was, funny for their son's soccer game today. So we've balanced out TV news with other things that are important to people about their finances and their lifestyle and so forth, but we still have to tackle those tough issues. And one of the services that we really can provide is to affect some change.
And that's what OCU is about. We were a part of Acorn. Acorn, unfolded, obviously, and there were so many people that were displaced in terms of activism. And so when we started Ohio Communities United, it was with the thought process of we're going to pick up issues, we're going to do what we used to do. We don't have the funding that we once had, and that's okay because a lot of things that we're doing, we're literally paying for out of our own pockets, and we're taking time out of our own schedules to get out there and do the protests and meet with these people and write the letters. This is something that really is coming from our hearts because, a lot of people don't believe in Cleveland. A lot of people don't believe in Cuyahoga County. We do. We're still here. We live here.
It takes that kind of commitment to really bring about the change because you're right. If you have a half-hearted interest, you're not going to be out there protesting.
And right, and I had people say to me, I can't believe you going out there in the cold and doing this. Listen, I've been in Cleveland all my life. It's been cold every year in December. It's been snowy in December. If you haven't gotten used to it after all these years, then something's wrong with you. But I don't have a problem with it because I see something. There's a greater need. And the greater need is that we have to stop being quiet and we have to stop being apathetic to these issues. We've really got to grab these bulls, because it's more than one of them. We've got to grab these bulls by the horn and let them know, hey, this is going to change. It's going to change, whether you like it or not. We don't care if it's painful for you. It's got to change because you're affecting the lives of people. And that little boy never should have died. He never should have died. When I heard your report, where you reported that the social workers went to her apartment and knew she was sleeping in one bed, that the apartment smelled bad. What excuse do we have for that?
Right. And I asked the director of the agency why didn't they at least try to take the kids away, and her answer was that they didn't think they could convince a judge to give them the approval to do that. Now, they certainly deal with those matters on a more daily basis than we ever will, and they know what the standard is likely to be. But yet, when you look back, and hindsight is always 20/20.
Well, I've got one for you. As a foster parent, you're going to love this. I had 5 therapists and a doctor say that my children were not being abused. We had pictures to show the kids weren't being abused. We had physical reports saying they weren't being abused. But because the social workers did not like me and said I didn't fit well within the bureaucratic system because I complained too much, they took my kids. A month after they took my children, they came back and said that it was unsubstantiated. When I met with Patricia Rideout, the director, she told me my kids who had been in therapy 5 days a week were now in a better place where they're in no therapy at all. And they were able to convince not only the judge, but the guardian ad litem, I was the problem. Her excuse of you can't convince a judge, they can do what they want to do. And they've shown me that. So, like I said, I've got pictures. I kept pictures. I kept a log. I had a social worker who did not visit my children for 12 months. 12 months. She was going in the system and stealing my resource manager's notes to cover for the fact she had not been in my house. She's still employed with this DCFS, and my license has been revoked. Explain that one.
Yeah, that sounds like something we'd have to take a look at, because it sounds like there are a lot of tentacles to that.
It is. It's a mess. It's a mess. And so, when my situation happened, I became determined that I was going to try to help somebody else. And if those two babies that I had are going to be stuck in that system had to change. That system has to change. It cannot remain the same, and those children still be endangered by the workers and the attitude of the administrator.
Well, let me just intercede right there. Not just your story, but other people's stories.
Yes.
We've heard a lot of people, not just Mariah's story, but a lot of people explain mishappenings that happen at the agency.
And foster parents, and if you talk to people who have come out of the system as foster parents, they will tell you the exact same thing. They left not because of dealing with the children, but because of dealing with the workers.
With bureaucracy, that's too bad. That really is. That's something that we'd have to take an extra look at to see. A lot of these issues are issues that you almost have to really drill down and spend a lot of time looking at it. Unfortunately, in this day and age, one of the problems is that TV news in general, there are less people in the business, just as there are less people in banks and police departments and everywhere else with cutbacks and so forth. There's just not as much time to delve deeply into some issues. And so it's important that when an issue does come to the forefront, to be able to strike on it. And I'll get back to what we started to talk about with the double dipping. And last week, when things came to light about Councilman Ken Johnson, we had our Scott Taylor, and we were able to afford him some time, and he did stories 5 days in a row on double dipping. And then we weren't finished then either, because I found out this week about a couple of special deals for a couple of county probation managers. So we were able to take an issue and run with it. And we can't always do that, but this time we were, and I'm sure there's going to be more to come.
Right, and we're going to keep attacking you, too. And, again, we welcome you. Anytime you want to call in and tell us what you can't say on the air because of time constraints, and expound. Right, give us more information, because we know that on the air you only have a certain amount of time that you're able to tell the public.
Factors.
Right, and I can't imagine how you take so much information and you have to dwindle it down to maybe a minute or a minute and a half to get to the public. And so that was another reason why OCU board came together, and we said we're going to create our own media so that we are able to address issues that are going to adversely affect. So we see what you're doing, and we're going to have an anticipation of you. And I saw Carl, too. I saw Carl Monday about 2 weeks ago. And I said, Carl, we got a show now. And when you guys have these issues that you can't expound on, call in, talk to us, tell us what's going on, because I want to be able to go to these meetings and know what I'm talking about and put these people to the test. We have got to go to a break, and hopefully you'll still be able to be with us, Ed. And if not, please feel free to call in. Thank you again.
I will definitely keep in touch, and you do the same, and looking forward to it.
Thank you.
We're looking for your report, Ed.
And
all right, guys.
We'll be back with OCU, your forum.
Reminisce.
On all the things you do.
Come on.
I can't imagine my life without you.
Special thanks to our Do Something Day sponsor, First Federal Lakewood, investing in your next step. Attend their first-time homebuyers clinic in February at their Garfield branch. For more info, call 216-475-5200.
Cleveland! 2013 is here, and my mom just got a brand spanking new Kia for the new year from KOB. That's Kia Bedford. I'm the KOB kid, and I like Kias, so you should too.
You tell them, KOB kid. Bedford on the world-famous Bedford Auto Mile brings in a new year with deals like this. Drive a brand new 2013 Kia Optima for just $213 per month. That's right, $213 per month. And every Kia is backed by a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty.
And we'll still take any old trade. Bring it to Bedford.
Right now, Kia Bedford has first, second, and third chance auto loans available. If you have a job and bring home $300 per week, we will approve you.
What are you waiting for, people? Brand new Kia Optimas from 213 and get more money for your trade. Only at your Kia store. By the way, tell Seth, he's the main man there, at the KOB Kid sent you.
Kia Bedford, 18180 Rockside Road. Call 866-579-3240 today. Open 24 hours at KiaBedford.com. Kia Motors, the power to surprise.
Parents here inviting you to check out American Law Radio on 1490 WERE each Thursday at 5. You'll discover what really goes on in jails and prisons today and how so many are behind bars simply because the justice system is badly broken. American Law Radio, the brainchild of Cleveland attorney David B. Malek, who has spent 30 years helping people advocate civil rights for civil wrongs. Get the scoop. Hear judges, lawyers, wardens, experts, former prisoners discuss the justice and prison system each Thursday afternoon at 5 right here on 1490 WERE.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, wherever the mission takes us, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Have you asked yourself, can I really lose this weight? Do you stay away from large public workout facilities? Are you unsure of where you should start? Do you suffer from fibromyalgia, arthritis, hypertension, back pain? Let Majai Ultimate Fitness help you. Conveniently located in University Circle, Majai understands the physical and mental struggles of weight loss and physical limitations. Our one-on-one personal training plans are affordable and designed just for you. No general workout plan here. No one-size-fits-all, no boot camp. Majai is a completely holistic and homeopathic approach to gaining control of your life. We're located at 10916 Magnolia Drive in Cleveland, Ohio. Call us at 216-240-5669. We welcome men, women, and children. We are the Royal Bodyguards of Fitness because your royalty starts here. Majai Ultimate Fitness Studio, 216-240-5669. Call for your appointment today.
Don't yell at your radio.
Call us up and let us know what's on your mind. The News Talk 1490 phone lines are open now. Call 216-578-1490. That's 216-578-1490 now. To get in touch with News Talk 1490 WERE, the People Station.
This is for them rough days. When you feel like
welcome back. I'm Darnell Brewer, and this is
Miss Mariah.
And if you're just joining us, this is OCU Forum.
Your forum.
If you just joined us, Frank, we're going to get you in a second. You just missed a lively conversation Miss Mariah had with
Ed Gallick from Channel 19 News. We were discussing the double dipping issue. He covered
not just about Ken Johnson, but also
about two other employees for Cuyahoga County. We're going to get to that. We're going to take Frank. We're going to talk to Frank, see what he has to say, and then we're going to get
Frank. You're live on air. Go ahead.
Hey there, Darnell. How you doing, Mr. Mariah?
Hey, Frank. How are you, sir?
We know each other. I was an employee of the Cleveland Board of Education when he was a student.
Oh, dating me now. You get my age.
I just wanted to sort of repeat what she was talking about the adoption foster care system here in Cuyahoga County. I was a foster parent, and they placed a young man with us that had a known history of violence. And one morning, we had a 14-year-old who was the perpetrator. We had a 6-year-old, we had an 8-year-old. The 14-year-old decided to place the 6-year-old in a sleeper hold, and the boy hit his head against the radiator and got a concussion. And I worked at Jane Edna Hunter and took the call at Jane Edna Hunter about the boy being at the hospital, the 6-year-old. Well, when they came out to investigate, I wasn't talking the way they wanted me to talk either. I was very, very, very scrappy. Like I told the lady, I don't have no child come in my house tell me what to do. We had a young lady that they placed with us on respite, and she decided she didn't like the rules of the house, so she told me she was going to run away. So I told her, all right, go ahead and run away. By the time you get to 152nd in St. Clair, the police will have picked you up because you got on a hot pink blouse and some lavender-colored pants. There will be no doubt that they got you. Okay, so she rethought her position. But, I mean, it was real crazy. The investigator came. I mean, she came in the house like it was her house she walked into. Well, we don't like. Oh, and then when we went down for the staffing, it was real funny because Tony and his mother and his grandmother were all morbidly obese. He was 14 and weighed 350 pounds, had pins in both of his hips, right? So this kid was, and then his mama had on these stretch pants that she almost stretched out of, and grandma was in a power wheelchair.
So you
Only
had a lot of
57 years
experience with the system.
Yeah, yeah. But it tripped me out because when we were in the staffing, Tony's grandmother, Tony says, you don't feed him any lunch meat. We're fat people. And I told my business partner, I said, that's not funny. These people are eating themselves to death, and they don't even see it.
Well, Frank, here's what I want you to do. I want you to take this number down. Anybody else that's listening, I want you to take this number down. The number is area code 216-385.
Wait a minute. 216.
7234. I'm going to repeat that.
Yeah, we're going to repeat it during the course of the show. 216-385-7234. I want you to call Mary and anybody who's listening that has these types of stories and complaints. We do want to hear from you. We want you to become part of our movement to change DCFS, to change the way it operates and be a voice for these children, but more importantly, for the foster parents who are taking these kids in. And I really don't want to cut you off, but we do have like 3 other people waiting.
Okay, all right. Well, I can call back in later on.
Make sure you call, but you keep listening, and you make sure you call Mary and give us your information, because I want to hear the rest of your story.
All right.
Thanks for calling, Frank.
Bye-bye.
Let's take a call from Gerald right quick. Gerald, you're on the air.
Well,
yeah, go ahead, Gerald.
Yeah, my name is Joe. Just wanted to...
Joe. Oh, hey, Joe.
Hey, Joe, you was our guest last week.
Yeah, I just wanted to give a shout out to your radio station in Ohio Communities United. You guys promised me justice, and you delivered.
All right.
I received an important phone call from a very important person this evening, and he basically told me that he knows that people feel that justice is not being served for my child, but I'm wrong. Justice is actually being served as we speak.
Yeah.
So, it's Ohio Communities United. They really work. And even after my situation's over with, my mission's not going to stop. I'll be standing with you every step of the way. So I'll take my last breath.
Well, Joe, as we continue to move forward with your case, we are not going anywhere. We're going to be right there every step of the way with you, because we believe that in order to make things change, we have got to stand together, and it just can't get a ball rolling and then just let it roll. No, we're going to be there until you get that little girl and she's in a safe position. We want you to know we love you, and we love your daughter, and love is an action word. Just understand, we know that to show love means that you are going to be able to see the results by what you do, and so we're going to be standing by you no matter what happens.
Thanks, I really appreciate that.
And we thank you for calling in and updating us. And I just want everybody to know, Joe called me earlier and told me who it was and what they said. And Joe had me crying on the phone, and I was doing a Holy Ghost dance when Darnell walked into the radio station. He said, "What's wrong with you?" I said, "Ain't nothing wrong with me." But I just want you to know that, Joe, you are going to be all right.
And see, the whole thing about it, too, is Cuyahoga County is separate from Cuyahoga County 696 kids. And what I mean by that is this Cuyahoga County prosecutor, he was actually flabbergasted when I told him, yeah, 696 kids in the Department of Children and Family Services investigated it, but they just swept it under the rug and blew it off. And his words were, "Are you kidding me?" Even after the police recommended this person be arrested, they did absolutely nothing. That's not happening.
Well, we're not going to let that happen. Let me tell you something. When I was a kid and my mom used to say, "Go sweep up," I remember seeing my sister. She used to sweep stuff under the carpet, and my mother would come right behind her and pull the carpet up and say, "Oh, sister girl, get that." And that's what we're going to do. We're going to keep pulling the carpet up and say, y'all got to get this. That's not going to work. They're not going to sweep up, because we're not dirt to be swept under a carpet.
Right.
And so that's not going to happen. And so, Joe, again, you please keep calling in, keep us updated what's going on. Let us know what's happening with your story. We don't want this just to be a story that's going to go away. We want to continue to hear the progress, and OCU is on your side.
Thanks, I appreciate that.
No problem. Thanks, Joe.
Thanks for calling in, Joe. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, have a great evening.
You too.
Hopefully, Joe's story will inspire others to come forward.
Exactly.
And then inspire that prosecutor to look into other cases of neglect, not just neglect from a parent point of view, but neglect from a worker point of view.
Exactly.
Because that's something that you have pointed out to Ed, and you've been pointing out before. We have workers who, and once again, we're not going to say they're all bad. Just
No, because they're not. And I had good workers. I had really good workers. So,
good workers.
Right. There are good workers out there, and you have to understand this movement is to protect the good workers as well, because the good workers, they are being punished in line with the bad ones.
They're lumping them all together.
Exactly, lumping them all together, and it's not fair to them. And so, I want to make myself expressly clear concerning it. I've had some good social workers that I've come in contact with.
And that good worker should be really mad because the worker who used her notes
exactly
used the good worker's notes. Somebody who was actually doing their job.
Well, here's one for you. The worker who stood up for me was reprimanded and threatened and told by her supervisor and her chief to write me up for my revocation, when she clearly sat in the meeting and said, hey, I've been to her house every month. I've never seen anything wrong. Those kids are doing great. So she was bullied into writing me up for revocation knowing I hadn't done anything wrong. So, no, the good workers are suffering right along with, because of the bad ones.
We want to remind people you listen to OCU Forum. If you want to call in, you have a conversation, a comment, 578-1490. We also extended the invitation to not just Department of Children and Family Services, Patricia Rideout.
Right.
We extended an invitation to Rick Warner, who was part of the Health and Human Services Committee. We've extended an invitation to the county council persons, Pernell Jones, Conwell. We also extended an invitation to Fitzgerald. So if any of our listeners know any of these elected officials, and heard me say elected official, please give them a call and tell them, come sit behind these mics at OCU Forum on Friday at 7.
And I promise I won't beat them up. I promise I will not
and
beat
with
them
Mr. Ryan
up.
being from Plan to Do Right, that's one of their rules on Plan to Do Right.
We just want answers, and because I feel like we are intelligent individuals. I'm well educated. They're well educated. There's no reason we can't have an educated, intelligent conversation regarding these issues and make agreements. Correct. To disagree, you don't have to agree with me.
Right.
But if I have a question as a constituent, I do have an anticipation of an answer.
Right.
Okay. And I think that I can't get the answer from the air. I want to get it from the person who's equipped to give it to me.
And who's equipped to make the change.
Exactly.
That's the reason we want them to sit behind these mics.
We got another caller?
To explain to us the changes that's going on. Yes, we have Mary. Mary, you're on the air.
Hello there.
Hey, Mary.
I am so happy tonight. I just heard Joe, and I am so happy my prayers is being answered. I pray for this organization all the time, and I know we go. OCU, we're on the ball.
Mary is one of those people who was out there on the front line with her.
Yeah. She was actually the featured protester for not one but two stories that 19 covered about the double dipping issue. And so if you saw those, if you didn't, go to WOIO and go to Channel 3 website. And
Channel 19.
Channel 3 as well, too.
Channel 3
had it too.
Oh,
Channel 3 had it too. And so you will see Mary, and she's vigilant about saying shame on you to City Council. And so, and I'm going to tell you something, Mary has a heart of gold.
Yes,
she really does. And I think she's a very misunderstood person.
And she cares so much, not just about her family, but the community.
She does. She loves sincerely, and she's sincere about her work and what she does. And that's why I'm very proud to have her on the board of OCU. And that's why, Mary, you might not like this, but I'm giving out your phone number again. It's 216-385-7234. And Mary is our contact person for Ohio Community United. And what you can do is, if you have a problem that's going on within your life, and we can address it, call Mary. She will take the complaint. We will bring it together. We will sit down, talk to you, and we will strategize. You can also go to Ohio Communities United org at activist.com, and you can send us an email. We also have a new Facebook page up, and the new Facebook page is Ohio Communities United OCU Forum, and you can like our page. You can post problems, questions, anything that's going on that we need to know about within the community that needs to be addressed. We want to hear from you, and we are not going to stop until we're not going to stop, because my daddy used to say the struggle continues. The struggle continues, but you know what? We don't have a problem with struggling, and you know why? Because we are African Americans, and we've been struggling since history.
Gary, thank you.
Daddy used to say,
thank you, and I am so happy, and we're on the ball.
We live in a capitalistic society, so we've got to move forward and pay some of these bills. And so we will be back with OCU Forum with Darnell Brewer and Miss Mariah.
Reminiscing all the things you do. Come on. I can't imagine my life without you. It's like paradise now. I know that it's real. No mystery. It's all you can do just to me. Watch Jim Calvary. Makes me wanna.
Red Eye Radio, Sunday mornings from 1 until 6 a.m.
Hi, this is Eric.
And I'm Gary.
We're from Red Eye Radio.
And we're the guys that stay up late with you or get you up early. And we talk about the news, entertainment, sports, or whatever's on your mind, the important issues and the not so important issues. We'll help you get your new day started off right.
It's Red Eye Radio, the early morning show.
Red Eye Radio, 1 to 6 a.m. Sunday mornings, right here on News Talk 1490 WERE and streaming live on BlackPlanetRadio.com.
I'm Drew Brees, and being a dad means the world to me. And one of the most important things any parent can do is make sure their kids get active at least 60 minutes each day. Studies show that physical activity not only helps kids stay healthy, it can enhance important skills like concentration and problem solving, which can improve academic performance. This means physical activity can help your kids in the most important game of all, life. Learn more at fitness.gov.
Brought to you by HHS.
Okay, forest animals, kids are coming to the forest, and it's up to us to make their visit a good one. Sparrow, have you practiced the most popular bird songs for the year?
Of course.
Catchy. I like it. River, how's the temperature?
It's a refreshing 52 degrees, man.
I love it. Turtle.
He's not here yet, man.
He's late every morning. Okay. Squirrel.
The forest has been preparing just for you. To learn more about cool things to do in the forest, visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Paul Stark.
And I'm Brian Stark from the Stark Group Live, talking real estate.
Every Thursday night at 7, we teach you how the pros make money
And lose money.
in the world of real estate.
You know, more millionaires have been made in real estate than in any other business in history.
Brian, you know how to make $1 million in real estate?
Sure I do. Start with $2 million.
But seriously, even at today's market, now is the time to start building your real estate fortune.
That's right. So tune in to the Stark Group Live, talking real estate, Thursday nights at 7, right here on 1490 AM WERE.
Are you thinking about getting your GED diploma? Well, here at the GED Pep Talk Center, we've got a number of pep talks that can motivate you.
Sometimes things don't always turn out the way you want them to.
You know that feeling? People look at you and don't believe in you.
You want some gentle encouragement. Then you're on your way to your GED diploma and a better life.
But I know they're probably just a little bit nervous. You can find it in yourself to take that first step. You can improve your future. You can do this. I know you can.
You need to start pushing yourself.
Now get your game face on and take the first step towards a better life. Hurry up! Don't make me repeat myself.
Whatever level of motivation you need to get your GED diploma, we've got a pep talk that's right for you. Call 1-877-38-YOUR-GED or visit yourged.org for your pep talk and find free GED classes in your area. GED is a registered trademark of the American Council on Education, brought to you by Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm LeVar Burton, and I'm proud to be a book person. Every child deserves to have access to books because children who grow up with books invariably do better in life than children who do not. How do I choose a book? Is it the cover? I guess, sometimes it's the cover, sometimes it's the title. I guess I'm pretty visual, so it's a combination of those two. The first book I remember was Captain's Courageous. When I finished that book, I had become so involved with these characters. So here's the thing. If a book's really, really impressing me and the writing is really, really good, I will peek and see what the last paragraph is. Because the endings of books, if it's really, really well done, that ending, that last thought should rock you. I am a book person. And if you're a book person too, read to a child and spark a lifetime of ambition. Join me at bookpeopleunite.org because reading is fundamental. A public service announcement brought to you by Reading is Fundamental, Library of Congress, and the Ad Council.
Have you asked yourself, can I really lose this weight? Do you stay away from large public workout facilities? Are you unsure of where you should start? Do you suffer from fibromyalgia, arthritis, hypertension, back pain? Let Majai Ultimate Fitness help you. Conveniently located in University Circle, Majai understands the physical and mental struggles of weight loss and physical limitations. Our one-on-one personal training plans are affordable and designed just for you. No general workout plan here. No one-size-fits-all, no boot camp. Majai is a completely holistic and homeopathic approach to gaining control of your life. We're located at 10916 Magnolia Drive in Cleveland, Ohio. Call us at 216-240-5669. We welcome men, women, and children. We are the Royal Bodyguards of Fitness because your royalty starts here. Majai Ultimate Fitness Studio, 216-240-5669. Call for your appointment today.
The People's Station.
This is for them rough days, when you feel like giving up days.
Welcome back. This is Darnell Brewer, and this is...
From Planet Do-Right and Miss Mariah.
And you're listening to OCU World. If you want to call in, 216-578-1490. If you're just joining us, you missed some excellent guests that we had, some excellent callers, and... excellent conversation.
You can get a copy of every show that we do if you call Mary at 216-385-7234. And you can also become a member of OCU if you call Mary. And you can also bring your issues and your complaints about what's going on in our community so that we can address them. That number again is 216-385-7234. And her name is Mary.
And, make sure you stay tuned to OCU Forum for the duration of the show and for these next couple of Fridays, all the Fridays that we're going to be on, because we're going to be announcing our dates when we're going to be having our community meetings. Our community meetings are not just going to be held on the air, but we're also going to be doing some things out in the community. So if you think this is a show here or an hour that we have, just wait till we get out in the community and we can field questions from you guys and everything else. But
understand something about OCU, Darnell. Please, we got to make people understand something about us. We do not meet so we could complain and mumble and grumble.
Correct.
You are going to come to our meetings. You're going to give us your problems. We're going to leave those meetings and we're going to go into another meeting and strategize on how to attack those problems. We are a strategist group. We are not into the mumbling. It goes somewhere else if you want to mumble, grumble, complain. We want to be able to take these issues and address them head on. And I think we have a caller. We got a caller?
No, not yet.
Not yet?
But also remind our listeners that we also do what is called action.
Actions, correct.
And it's, like you said, make sure we stress what our actions are. Actions are what you saw on the news. Where we went out in front of City Hall, we went out in front of the county building, and we brought attention to the problem. And along with that attention being brought to the problem, we asked for solutions to the problem. So if you got a problem that you want us to address, we understandably that we can't take every problem.
Right.
But we'll try to do our best to work with your problem.
Exactly.
So if you want to join us, like I said, just give Mary a call or email us or like us on Facebook. We do have our new Facebook page up. We're going to let Mariah talk about a couple other things where we tell you about our next week's show, which is going to be one of our fun shows.
Okay, I'm going to read a letter that Ohio Communities United sent to County Executive Ed Fitzgerald. Mr. Fitzgerald, I'm writing to you in regards to two subject matters. Firstly, my organization has sent letters to you in the past, and today your office has yet to respond to any of them. We requested that you and elected officials sit down and meet with us to discuss some very important issues which adversely affect our community. This is conflicting to the community when your very own mission statement, and I took his mission statement directly from his page of the county officer. Cuyahoga County citizens, it's time to build one Cuyahoga County, united towards building a trustworthy county government that strengthens our economy and delivers excellent services with unparalleled efficiency. Edward Fitzgerald, Cuyahoga County Executive. How do you plan to build trust within this community when you've ignored the constituents who voted you into office? How do we trust this new government when we see you operating the same and in many cases worse than the last? I am in reference to Mariah, I have been an activist in this city and outside the state of Ohio for many years. And in my experiences, the prior administration never ignored letters, phone calls, or rejected requests from myself and the organization in which I represented. The previous commissioners would at least be courteous enough to meet with the community and listen to the concerns and then at times act upon them. You have insulted this community and you have insulted my organization. This, Mr. Fitzgerald, is not acceptable. The second issue at hand is the recent report that aired by Ed Gallick. You are telling the public that you are dedicated to, quote, saving the taxpayers' money. And like Cleveland City Council, you have allowed 2 county employees to retire and then come back and continue to be on the payroll. The 2 individuals, Chief Probation Manager Vince Holland and Chief Manager Dan Paterka, retired and then were rehired because they had no replacements. Is this an acceptable reason? Don't individuals know in advance they plan on retiring? Isn't there enough time to post the jobs and find qualified individuals to fill those positions within that time frame? How long will the county and city governments allow these types of behaviors to continue? We look forward to a positive response from you soon. Best regards, Lady Chair Mariah Crenshaw. And I CC'd this to Ed Gallick. I don't know if Ed received it, but he should be getting it soon. We have a caller?
No. Go ahead. Caller on the air.
Yes, hello. I just wanted to say I enjoyed the show, and I hope that I can get involved and do some advocating myself in the future.
You know how to contact us?
Yeah.
All right. We look forward to having you with us, and I know who this is.
I do, too.
You're
How are
from
you?
another mister.
Yeah, I know exactly who this is. Couldn't be more blood to me than if my mama gave birth to you.
Yeah.
All family.
That's it. And so we look forward to you being part of the movement that we are in, and, you know, we're dedicated to this. And so if you have things that you have concerns about and things that we want to address and that you feel need to be addressed, please, you know how to get me.
I know how to get with you. Yeah, this is important. That little boy, like you said, he can't have died in vain.
No, he can't, and we cannot let him go. He needs to become the poster child for Cuyahoga County DCFS and why it needs to change.
Exactly.
Thank you for your call.
Thank you, and keep up the good work.
Thanks.
You too.
Okay, bye.
Let's let people know about our next week's show because we only got a couple of minutes.
Okay.
It's going to be our Love, Life, and Laughter show.
Yeah.
We're going to have our love lyricist, Miss Ivy, come and join us. And if you want a good read this week, Juicy Deception by Ivy.
Miss Ivy.
Miss Ivy. I'm sorry, Miss Ivy.
Miss Ivy.
And gentlemen out there, if you just look at the cover, you'll want to read it from front to back. But she's going to be here next week, and we're going to laugh. We're going to talk about love, and we're going to talk about life. So if you have some jokes you want to call in and tell us, if you have some life stories you want to tell us, if you have some love questions that you want to ask the ladies and gentlemen who are sit around the table, make sure you come join us next week. Get your jokes and love and life stories together.
Right. Because we're not always going to be serious, okay? We're going to have some fun with the OCU Forum, but we just wanted you to know that the book, again, is titled Juicy Deception by Miss Ivy. It is available on Amazon.com. You can also get it on your Nook and your Kindle. Mm-hmm. And we really, really enjoyed being with you this evening. If you need to contact us, the number is 216-385-7234. Ask for Mary and tell us what's on your mind.
And remember, MLK Day this Monday. Just take a little time out. Also, the inauguration will be going on this Monday. Just take a little time out and do something good for the people in the neighborhood. Don't just think of yourself. Think of others. And in the words of Stanley Tolliver,
the struggle continues.
And in the words of Rafu Ojo, look out for number 1, because number 2 ain't you.
And we are signing out from Planet Do-Right.
OCU Forum. Your forum.
That's right. Because of your love.
representations are those of the participants and are not those of 1490 WERE AM's owners or management.